Hello everyone, I'm Vi. I'm e-commerce marketing expert at Omnisend, and today we continue our preparation for Black Friday, and our topic is segmentation. Because if you don't have that ready, I think you're missing out on a good chunk of money. And to help us with that today, we have Sadie, who is our senior account expert, and use this opportunity to ask her questions. It's literally her job to help her clients to succeed at this. So use this opportunity. No stupid questions. Sadie, would you like to say hello?
Hey guys, yeah, super excited to be here and teach you guys a little bit more about segmentation, answer any questions that you have, and yeah, don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions. It doesn't even have to do with segmentation, if whatever you want to know.
But let's try to keep it on topic, or at least Black Friday related topics.
Yeah, I told Vi I was really close to wearing my Christmas sweater this morning, but I figured maybe it's a little bit early.
Just tiny bit, but hey, safe space. So a couple of things to know before we begin. This session is being recorded. You will receive the recording in a couple of days. We will include the slides and any of the other resources we're going to share. Also, if you have any questions, again, take this opportunity. There's a Q&A there's a tab at the bottom, and you can see a Q&A tab there as well. So drop your questions in there, and then we will either pause to answer them, or we will wait till the end when we're going to have a Q&A session as well. And also, we have customer support team in the chat. They're real people, not AI, and they'll be happy to guide you through any other Omnisend related questions as well. So again, take this opportunity to ask Sadie all the questions. Black Friday is coming up soon. So again, take this opportunity. And Sadie, the stage is yours.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the importance of segmentation. I'm sure that's why you guys are all here anyway. I will show you a segment overview of what some of these key segments are going to be and how to use them, why they're important, and when you should use them. I'm also going to review some common mistakes to avoid. We'll go over some additional tips. Cannot speak this morning. Okay. And then, of course, we'll have a Q&A at the end. All right, so what are you going to learn in this webinar? So we are going to review what those highest performing segments are going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, how to tailor it specifically for your strategy for each of the segments that we're going to discuss, and then obviously, again, the biggest mistakes brands make during segmentation, with segmentation during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. All right. So again, why are we here? Why does segmentation matter? And why does it matter even more so during Black Friday, Cyber Monday period? All right. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday is not the time to gamble with a batch and blast. I know it's very tempting, but it's when segmentation goes from like nice to have to absolutely essential, especially in the months leading to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Like now, ISPs become even more strict during this time, and it's a period where I see the most mistakes happen and the most damage done to your deliverability, to your reputation, and it takes time to come back from reputation or from reputation damage. So just don't risk it. It's not worth it. So we know that inboxes are flooded during Black Friday, Cyber Monday time. Segmentation gives you relevance. Revenue window is also very short during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So more specific targeting equals faster conversions. And then if you choose to go with a one-size-fits-all approach, you'll notice lower performance and higher unsubscribes. So again, it's not worth it to risk it. Okay, so let's go into an overview of all of our key segments. All right, we're going to be talking about the engaged audience. This is the most important segments that you're going to be creating in Omnisend, and these are really just to identify those recent openers and clickers. We also have the hyper-engaged audience, so whenever you want to target those most active subscribers. We also have the purchaser and non-purchaser segment, so you can use these to convert browsers or upsell buyers. High lifetime value. This is where you want to reward your VIPs and increase that lifetime value again. Black Friday, Cyber Monday shoppers. This one is to target those customers who typically only shop during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. Window shoppers, this is going to help you identify those very curious visitors, especially during these crazy times. And then recent purchasers. So whenever we want to identify who has recently purchased with you. All right, so let's go into the nitty gritty. Let's go into the details of all of these segments and how to build them within Omnisend. So engage 30, 60, 90. I've lumped all of these into basically one segment, but remember that you need to keep your audience and your product in mind. If you have or you are selling something that's highly consumable, maybe it's better for you to stick to that engage 30, 60. But if you have something that's not as highly consumable, you're in the furniture space, anything like that, then you might want to stick with some of those later segments. Um, while you are creating these segments, you want to make sure that you are defining the message channel, especially if you're using Omnisend for multi-channel communication like SMS and web push notifications. So as you are adding those filters of opening messages and clicking messages, make sure that you define that this is email if we're being specific to email. Same thing with SMS, but just make sure that you're defining those channels so we don't exclude anybody who is maybe not engaged with email, but could be engaged with SMS. So, all right, so how, when, and why are we building these segments? Again, you want to include subscription status, whether they've opened or clicked. You also want to define the message channel here, as I was mentioning. And then optional, you can exclude Apple privacy opens. I know this one is one that I have a hard time convincing my clients to do just because, we are excluding a large audience. I think 80 to 90% of most of my clients' customer base end up having that privacy Apple enabled. So it's a lot harder to identify whether those are true opens or not. But again, this is something that you could include as an optional filter. When do you want to use these? You should be using these segments 80 to 90% of the time whenever you're sending campaigns, especially before, during, and after that Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. Again, like I've noticed in years past that if my clients ever have any deliverability issues, they often appear now in October. Again, ISPs become more strict during the craziness of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So now and during Black Friday, Cyber Monday is not the time to blast and email to all of your subscribers all the time to try and re-engage them. Do not risk tanking your deliverability before the season starts. It's not worth it. All right, and why are we sending to this list? To keep a good reputation with ISPs. Like I said, good reputation means that you have good deliverability. Good deliverability means that less emails are ending up in your spam, in your subscriber spam folder, which means you have more revenue, more people are clicking on your emails, and higher revenue per email sent. So again, I think this one is the most obvious and the most important to implement. All right. Next, we have our hyper-engaged audience. So this is very similar to the engaged segments that we just discussed, but we're including more frequency of engagement in a shorter period of time. Okay, so how do we build these? Again, very similar to the engaged list, but maybe we define the opens as more frequent. So maybe they opened 5 times within the past 30 days, within the past 14 days. Again, this is something that you need to take in your frequency of sending into consideration. And then maybe they've clicked multiple times as well. All right. When do you want to use this segment? This is a really great segment to get those quick results from campaigns. This is also a really great segment to utilize whenever you're trying to A/B test, whether you're testing subject lines, whether you're testing content, whether you're testing CTAs. This is a really great segment to utilize to see real true results. And then this is also really great to use in low engaging seasons. Let's say that you decided to send a blast to your whole entire list and you tanked your deliverability. this is a really great segment to use to try and build up that reputation again. Again, it does take time, so we don't want to risk it, especially now. But again, this is a really great segment to use if you do experience some lows in your deliverability. All right. Why do we want to use these? Again, think of these subscribers as like they're in the front row of your very first performance at a concert. They're showing up, they're really excited to see you, and they're ready to see what you're about to share. Treat them like the VIPs that they are, and I promise that they will deliver. And again, like I mentioned, they really boost your deliverability in those low engagement seasons, or if you're trying to boost your reputation before Black Friday, Cyber Monday hits. So, all right. Next segment that we have are your purchasers and your non-purchasers. This is a very simple, very easy to build segment. And all you have to do is add whether or not they've placed an order, and then you can also add in that time frame like I have in the screenshot. So again, something you want to take into consideration is how often somebody will purchase your products. Are you selling something that's highly consumable, or are you selling something that's not highly consumable? All right, so yeah, we just need that transactional place order filter within this segment. When do you want to utilize this segment? For those purchasers, post-purchase thank yous go a long way. And Black Friday, Cyber Monday is no different. Plus, this is a really great time to start thinking about replenishment reminders and cross sells during Black Friday, post Black Friday, Cyber Monday. For those non-purchasers, these are really great to utilize whenever you're splitting in automations. Once you split, you can add the non-purchasers to the split where you can add additional educational content. If they've never purchased before, maybe they need a little bit more nurturing to make that first purchase. Maybe they're a little bit more discount driven, and Black Friday, Cyber Monday is going to be the perfect time where you want to give them that offer that is more conversion focused. And why do we want to use these? Purchasers, they have already trusted your brand, but now you want to try and increase their lifetime value and repeat purchases and cross sells. Plus, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is a time where people are looking at your reviews. So be sure to try and get those people who have purchased to send in those reviews. And then also referrals. If you sell one-time products or you have products that are low purchase frequency, this is a really great time to utilize those referrals. And then let's see, the non-purchasers, they need to build that trust again, like I was mentioning. And so having that more educational focused content is going to be a game changer. And again, Black Friday, Cyber Monday might be the push that gets these customers to purchase. So keep that in mind. All right, next we have high lifetime value customers. So there is the option in Omnisend to create segments based on total spend and how many orders that they have placed. So let's go into how we're building this segment. Again, total spend, customize this based on your average order value. You can use the placed order in the number of times that they've placed an order, sorry. And maybe exclude wholesale customers if this is something that concerns you too, because I know a lot of my clients have wholesale clients that are frequently purchasing, but maybe they don't want to send them the promotional content that they would want to send to a high lifetime value customer. All right, when do we want to utilize this segment? This is to reward. I mean, these people truly are showing up first. They've proven to you that they are loyal to your brand. Give them exclusive perks, give them early access, especially Black Friday, Cyber Monday, private sales. And then again, this is another great segment to A/B test with. Give them the true first access to your Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales and deals. Especially, I think a lot of us are tempted to go into the direction of gray November. I don't know if this is a new term for anybody else, but it's not so much Black Friday, Cyber Monday anymore. Everybody is doing promotions all throughout November. So make sure to give them early access to any of those promotions. So why do we want to have this segment? These are, again, your most profitable audience. I think a lot of times we focus too much on lapsed customers or maybe even people who have never purchased before, trying to get them to convert and be that first time purchaser. But if you focus on this group, it really increases your retention, it reduces churn, and it can improve their lifetime value further with personalized upsell paths. So again, I think during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they really deserve that premium treatment and they deserve to feel recognized and rewarded. So again, really great segment to use. And then two, I think this is also a really great opportunity to start collecting reviews. Use this audience. They have purchased from you time and time again. They trust your brand, they trust your product. And this is going to be the ideal audience to try and get some of those reviews before the Black Friday, Cyber Monday craziness.
I'm
All
just
right.
gonna jump in, Sadie, real
Yeah.
quick. Thinking from my own customers and clients' perspective, there is that counterintuitive push where we try to chase people who do not engage with our
Yeah.
emails, with non-shoppers, where we have this segment that are like, they love our brand, and we're like, yeah, you're good, but I want these people. And here's
I
like, who
know.
is actually paying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it. You know, a lot of us are so focused on increasing revenue, increasing revenue, increasing revenue. And it makes more sense whenever there's this huge portion of your list that is never purchased from you. And then you have this teeny tiny little list of customers who continue to purchase with you again and again. It's so easy to put your focus on that massive list that has never purchased because there's a higher chance, maybe just maybe something, one promotion is going to get them to purchase. But yeah, we focus way too much on those laps, on those customers who have never purchased before, or maybe it's been a really long time since they purchased, and we stray away and we lose our focus on these people who coming back to us again and again. And if we don't nurture those customers, then we might lose them too. So it's really important that you really focus and pay attention to those high lifetime value customers. Yeah, perfect. All right, next slide is our Black Friday, Cyber Monday shoppers. So there's actually a couple of different ways that I built this segment, and I would suggest building this segment. And it truly just depends on the way that you typically do your Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotions. So in this very first segment, I actually added the filter set of whenever they place an order between November 1st and December 15th, 2024. So this is going to focus on those people who have only placed an order during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday time. Again, adjust the dates as necessary. But yeah, they've not placed an order at least one time after that Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. So they truly are just that Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopper. The second way that you could build this is if you use static coupon codes. So people who are subscribed to email, they've placed an order at least one time and they use the code Black Friday, Cyber Monday 20 or Black Friday, Cyber Monday 10, whatever static code you use last year or previous years, this would be a really great opportunity to say, okay, yes, these people have purchased during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, and they're going to be really great to send to. All right. So yeah, we've already gone over how to build these. When do you want to actually use this segment? Obviously, during those Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns. And why do you want to use this? So this helps you target those very price sensitive, deal motivated purchasers at the perfect time. Again, Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. You can personalize your messaging based on what they purchased last year. And then again, this is a really great strategy to try and reactivate those Black Friday, Cyber Monday buyers. It's obviously cheaper to keep and maintain a customer than it is acquiring a new customer. But yeah, again, this is another great segment to have during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday period.
Sadie, I have a question for you, and I think
Yeah.
if you think that you might want to hold on the answer a bit, that's fine, because I know there's other things coming down the line. But as we were talking about this particular segment, people who shopped with us last year, Would it be a good idea to maybe connect and sync that data to our Meta or Google
Yeah.
accounts and run the ads specifically for them?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And I think too, that can solve some issues that could arise if you're just sending to that Black Friday, Cyber Monday specific segment. Maybe they did purchase, but maybe they're not engaged with email. So maybe it could not be a good thing to send a campaign. You really have to be careful. But no, you're exactly right. And that using the Facebook, the Meta ads and your Google ads, you can create this segment, sync it over to Meta and Google, and then create lookalike audiences based off of the data that you already have within Omnisend. So yeah, that's a really great opportunity to utilize this segment. And yeah, one of those additional tips that we'll talk about too. But yeah, no, I think that's a really great opportunity. And one feature that I don't see a lot of my clients utilize in Omnisend too. Um, all right, let's look at window shoppers. So this segment is created to find those customers or potential customers who are viewing your website, they're adding items to their cart, they're looking, but they haven't quite purchased yet. Window shoppers are like people peeking into your storefront, and Black Friday, Cyber Monday is the chance to open your doors, wave them in, say hello. Now is the time to purchase. So, how are you going to build these segments based on activity on your website? Again, if they're very active on your website, they're adding items to their cart, then the intent to purchase is very high. When do you want to use these? Again, during your Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns, this is a really great segment and high converting segment. And why do we want to use this segment? Again, they've shown high intent to purchase. You just haven't sealed the deal yet. Black Friday, Cyber Monday urgency with limited time, limited stock can convert maybes into yeses. And with the right nudge at the right time, window shoppers can become those first time buyers. So another really great segment to have. Another great segment to use the Meta and Google syncing with as well. Again, they've shown that high intent to purchase. It's just getting them to say yes. All
We
right.
actually have a question related to that.
Yep.
So before we wander off too far from it, so Mark is asking, what is your recommendation with respect to window shoppers and any sense they will or are receiving from the cart abandonment flows? So let's say you have your abandoned cart set up, even abandoned product flow set up, and now you have this segment. So that can be a little bit confusing, especially for someone who hasn't used window shoppers segment. Any advice on how to manage that?
Absolutely. So I'm kind of thinking this in the direction of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And I know that not all of us are adding Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals to our abandoned cart and our abandoned checkout flows. So maybe, yes, they do go through those abandoned cart and abandoned checkout flows, but they're not knowledgeable of the promotions that you have going on during this period. So, do I exclude people? Do I turn off my abandoned cart, my abandoned checkout? No, I don't think so. Keep in mind the frequency of emails that you're sending. And maybe you add that to your segment as well. Maybe we say that they haven't received X amount of emails in the past 24 hours because we don't want to overwhelm these people, but we do want to let them know that we do have a promotion going on and now is the time to purchase instead of waiting around just to see what's going to happen. Obviously, these people know that Black Friday, Cyber Monday is a thing. Maybe they're just not aware of your promotions. But again, I think this is one of the segments that you will see the highest conversions from. So maybe we're not sending them a specific email campaign just to this segment. But in some of the additional tips that I talk about, one of those is the segment performance reporting in Omnisend, and you should see this segment being highly converting. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but hopefully that answers your question a little bit. Perfect. All right. Then last but not least, I have recent purchasers. So again, very, very simple segment to implement and to create. How are we creating this? We're using placed order filter set, and we want to make sure that they've put placed an order recently. So places an order in the last 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. You can add optional product slash category purchase if you want to have an effective follow-up cross-sell opportunity. When do you want to use this segment? For those post-purchase educational automations like care tips, frequently asked questions, shipping information, but most importantly, to exclude in promotional campaign sending. Like, please do not send your 20% off deal to people who purchased yesterday. Um, but again, like just because someone bought yesterday doesn't mean that they're completely done. I think, I touched on this segment a lot in my last webinar. But I think I was like in the mindset of like, don't just make sure that you don't send these people promotional content right after they purchased, but I didn't in any way mean to like completely forget about them, like take them off of your list and never touch them again. Just because someone bought yesterday doesn't mean that they're done with you. Think of this segment as like guests still walking around your store with their shopping bags. They're warm, they're paying attention, and I think with the right follow-up at the right time, they'll head back to checkout. So a recent purchaser doesn't mean that, again, that they're done. This is the perfect time to offer add-ons, giftable items, or use this opportunity for holiday upsells. Encourage that second purchase, again, which statistically increases the lifetime value dramatically. So, and why do we want to have this segment? This is the highest emotional engagement point. They literally just purchase with you, build their trust by lightening their post-purchase anxieties by nurturing them, but also make sure that you aren't sending them that 20% off coupon after they literally just purchase with you. It's super annoying. And then as Vi was mentioning, that Meta and Google advertising, make sure that you exclude them from your social media advertising too. I feel like that's one thing that even big companies forget to do. I'll make a purchase, and sometimes it's a really big purchase, and then the next day I get their 20% off Memorial Day, Labor Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaign, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it just, no, never ends.
I'm
All
just
right.
gonna jump in as well because you touched on this segment and the possibilities of talking to them during the festive shopping season as well. So that is very good hint at like, yes, Black Friday is coming up, but let's not forget we're also gonna have Christmas and just gifting season in general. So
Yeah.
that will come in handy when you're planning other campaigns as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, like these people have purchased with you before. So, maybe we retarget them. Maybe they do purchase during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but maybe December comes around. They actually really love your product. And you offer gift cards or gift certificates. This would be a really great segment to try and retarget with those offers. Maybe they want to gift the same thing to a family member, a friend, but don't want to purchase it outright. Maybe those gift certificates or gift cards would be a really great opportunity to upsell them in some way.
And I think this is also a good opportunity to ask one question that Kevin asked at the beginning. And I thought of waiting till the Q&A time, but I think if you want to, again, hold your answer a little bit longer because you're going to be talking about the mistakes and things to avoid, maybe that's going to tie into that. But Kevin's asking, what about a new client brought to Omnisend? So the Kevin is still warming up the account in a domain. There's probably not much data on the engagement. One part of the question is, do you think he should send 1-2 emails to all subscribers end of October, beginning of November to know who are engaged and who are not? So what would be your strategy now? Like we are first week of October, Black Friday is coming up, no data. What do we do?
And I'm very curious too, is like this your first time sending on Omnisend? Is it the first time sending emails in general? Because, obviously if you're used an older ESP, maybe you can import some of that data into Omnisend. But if you're completely new to email marketing, we truly have no engagement data whatsoever. I think, again, it's that you obviously want to warm up. I think it's appropriate in this case to send to all subscribers. Just, I guess be careful. Watch what happens. If you see that your open rates are really, really low whenever you're sending to all these contacts, then maybe we take a step back. Maybe we look at people who have they recently opted into email marketing. Maybe we take a look at those people first. But yeah, I think that's kind of a difficult situation, number one, to be in, especially during this time. But hey, it happens, and we've got to start somewhere. So yeah, I think that's what we got to do. All right. So going into biggest mistakes and things to avoid during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Okay, so blasting all contacts just in case. So not in the case of where we've just started email marketing and I'm warming up my list, but in all other cases where you've been with Omnisend, or maybe you're on another ESP and are looking to come to Omnisend. Don't be blasting all of your contacts just in case. Brands, I know, get really nervous and decide to email everyone, including cold and unengaged audiences, but it honestly hurts your deliverability during the most important email season of the year. It does drive spam complaints and unsubscribes, and you'll see very watered down results, which are just harder to analyze as far as segment performance goes. So what to do instead? Use re-engagement flows before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or limit full list sends to only strategic moments. Again, that 80 to 90% send to your most engaged list, with that occasional, very occasional, only during heavy promotional times, send to all of your contacts if you're going to send to all of your contacts. Let's see. Treating all contacts the same. Why is it a mistake? Your first-time buyers may need a little bit more nurturing. VIPs should feel special. Your high lifetime value customers, we shouldn't be treating all of these people the same. And we shouldn't be targeting them like everyone else. Instead, you should send more tailored, higher converting offers to those contacts who maybe need a little bit of nurturing. Yeah, so don't treat all of your contacts the same. Next is ignoring those recent purchasers. Again, it can create frustration and distrust if you're sending this 20% off incentive the day after they purchased with you. It really increases the return or cancellation request, which increases the number of support tickets in your inbox, especially if you're like most of my clients who are wearing many hats. Now is just not the time to have all of those emails in your inbox asking for a refund, for a cancellation, so that they can repurchase. And then you kind of miss the opportunity for post-purchase upsells or bundles because, again, you've created this little bit of a mess and people are not necessarily trusting you. So instead, make sure to exclude those recent purchasers from certain promotions or tailor your messages to like complete the bundle or gift one to a friend instead of blasting everything to everyone again. And then lastly, not preparing segments in advance. That's why we're all here today, right? Why is it a mistake? It obviously creates rush mistakes, delays or errors during the busiest sending weekend, and it leads to targeting to the wrong people. And that's what we're trying to avoid with segmentation. So instead, start building and testing your segments now. If you're not doing it now, that's again why we're on this webinar, and you're gonna go today and start building and implementing these segmentations. But again, like now is the right time to purchase. Don't wait until Black Friday, Cyber Monday to start building these segments. All right, and then some additional tips. Utilize exclusions in your campaigns. Exclude those recent purchasers. Exclude those who are just not engaged with your email campaigns. Use segments in forms and for targeting purposes. So I'm trying to think of a good example. Maybe you are getting organic traffic. You're also seeing traffic from Meta. You're also seeing traffic from Google. You can use specific segmentation in forms to target those specific types of possible customers, future customers. Split by segments and automations. This is one of my favorites. Again, we talked about those purchasers and non-purchasers. This is a really great opportunity to split during your abandoned cart or abandoned checkout flows. give your non-purchasers the educational content that they need in order to make a purchase with you, and treat them differently than the people who have purchased. Maybe send, excuse me, maybe send your high lifetime value customers down a different flow than all of your other customers. Use segment reporting. I think this is one of the things that is super underutilized in Omnisend, but under your campaign reporting, you can look at segment performance. And this is really where you can see who is driving the most traffic, who is opening your emails the most, who is clicking your emails the most. Don't be afraid to send to multiple segments in your campaign sending so you can see who exactly is converting. And then yeah, last but not least, connect Facebook and Google. It's just an easy strategy. Yes, Omnisend is not necessarily an acquisition tool. It's not built to acquire customers. It's built to retain your customers. But use the data that you have within Omnisend to make better decisions whenever you're paying for advertising. It's going to give you that higher return on investment. And we know that return on investment with acquisition is not nearly as good as it is with retention tools. But again, make that smarter decision. Use segmentation to create lookalike audiences for retargeting purposes, any of that sort of stuff. All right. And then I just kind of want to give you a little snapshot of what the segment performance reporting looks like in your campaigns. Again, if you use multiple segments in your campaign sending, you can see how many messages were sent from each one, the open rate of each of these segments, the click rate of each of these segments, and the placed order rate and revenue of each of these segments. So I think this is a super underutilized report in Omnisend, and it can tell you a lot about your customers. And then use Omnisend AI to help. If you have an idea for a segment, but you're not really sure where to start, use Omnisend AI to prompt what sort of segment you are looking to create, and it does it for you. It's a very nice tool, and if you haven't used it yet, it's a really great place to start, especially if you have no idea how to use the filters. You get lost with the filters in Omnisend. I've been with Omnisend for over 5 years, and I still get lost with the filters. So again, this is a really great tool to utilize. And then something that's actually pretty new within Omnisend is personalizing content in your campaigns. So let's use in the conversation of personalization and making sure that we cater our emails to our audience. You can decide who sees specific layouts within your campaigns. So maybe we use the purchaser and non-purchaser idea. Maybe the content block A is going to be visible for our purchasing group, and then content block B is going to be visible to our non-purchaser group. We're including more educational content in that. So yeah, this is again another underutilized but pretty new tool in Omnisend that I think could be very powerful in creating that more personalized experience. All right, guys, that is all that I have to share with you today. In summary, we have gone over core segments. Again, it's important to segment before, during, and after Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. Segmentation is your competitive edge. One-size-fits-all campaigns just don't cut it anymore. Maybe 10 years ago, but not anymore. If you do remember one thing from today, let it be this, that segmentation isn't just some tactic. It's your foundation for successful, sustainable email marketing. And during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's no different. It's the tool that turns clicks into customers. Perfect. All right, Q&A time.
Sadie, thank you so much. That is so informative. And for everyone asking, you will receive the recording in a couple of days. We'll include the slides so you can go through it at your own pace as well.
Yep. Yeah, and copy and paste those segments. Build those segments now.
Exactly. One of the questions I actually wanted to ask you. So great. I'm looking at these segments. Maybe I've never done Black Friday focus segments as like window shoppers or people who bought from me last year. And what would be your advice there? I'm like, I already have so many other things to do. I need to do this. And now I've never done it before. Will I get it right? So I really want to take advantage of this. but I don't know how. What steps could I do? How could I prioritize as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I know with most of the clients that I work with, every every single person that I work with is wearing multiple hats. And so maybe I don't have the time to create a campaign or go through every single one of my automations and make sure that they're Black Friday, Cyber Monday focused. I don't have the time to do this, and I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the team to do this. Um, and I think this is where segmentation is important. But we all have to start somewhere, and now is the time to start. So maybe you don't have this historical data from last year. Maybe this is your first time doing Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Use the segments that maybe don't involve Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotions from last year, don't necessarily involve historical data. But make sure that you take these things this year so you can know how to go into next year better and with a better strategy. And yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Thank you so much. And if anyone needs any help setting it up, you have questions, you can contact our customer support team.
Yep.
They're available 24/7. They'll be happy to guide you because I know things are stressful leading up to this. Now I have to set up things right. So if anything, just contact our customer support.
Yep. I agree. And yeah, you guys made the best first step in coming to this webinar to make sure that you're prepared well in advance before we get to the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. So you've already made the first step in making sure that you are well ahead of the game.
Awesome. We still have time if anyone has any questions. You can type it out in the chat or the Q&A tab, whichever works better for you. In the meantime, I wanted to ask you, Sadie, you keep mentioning, oh, exclude this segment or maybe exclude this one. But what if someone in that segment would have bought from me? So are you telling me to exclude sales that I would have potentially received?
So I think, it really, this is a very broad question. This is a very broad way to ask this question, I guess. And most of the time, whenever I'm talking about exclusions, I'm talking about people who are simply not engaged with your email. And usually, whenever I'm looking at these inactive contacts, they haven't been engaged in the last 90 days, they haven't been engaged in the last 6 months, they haven't been engaged in the last year. And I think what a lot of people do have that FOMO, like, what if I get one person to purchase in this list of people who haven't been engaged in a year? But is it truly worth the one sale to possibly ruin your deliverability and ruin the chances of your email landing in the main inbox versus the spam folder? And truly, I just don't think that it is. Just because they are not engaged with your email doesn't mean that they are a contact that's dead. This is where, you can use the Google and Meta advertising, create a segment of contacts who are simply not engaged with email and try retargeting them using different channels. This is why it's so important to diversify your marketing channels. Use Omnisend SMS, use web push notifications, use ad, and try and target them in a way that's not going to do damage to your email deliverability and do damage to the emails that do land in the inbox and the people who are actually paying attention. Again, I know sometimes it's really hard to look at this gigantic audience of customers who have never purchased with me before, or maybe it's been a really long time. I want to try and retarget them. But again, I think we lose focus on what's really important, the people who are actually purchasing and opening emails, are engaged. So yeah, is it really worth it for that, maybe possibly that one promotion to ruin your deliverability? Yeah, because I know it's so tempting. I have these conversations every single day.
Absolutely. And as someone who's been in e-commerce for close up to a decade now, I can say that 80/20 rule works really well. 80% of your revenue will come from 20% of your customers. So
Yep.
think about it that way.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let me just check the questions. There's one question about reactivating inactive contacts, and I'm thinking at it from perspective of Black Friday like we have like a month to go. Like some people already started running their campaigns. Is this the time to try to reel those people back in, or should I just leave them for now and then use other tactics later? Like, what would be the right strategy from your perspective?
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, like it's trying to understand the risk. Again, do we want to risk our email deliverability for the possibility that maybe, just maybe, somebody would be engaged if I try to re-engage them, if I sent this email to all of my contacts, maybe, just maybe. But I think this is, the conversation that we need to be having, not just in this Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, but all year round. Again, I try to tell my clients that 80 to 90% of the time you should be sending to your most engaged audience. That 10 to 20% of the time, whenever you're having a really, really great promotion, maybe open that up to all of your contacts. But if you haven't done that strategy, if you have a list of, let's say, 30,000 contacts and 10,000 of those contacts have not been engaged, you haven't been sending them emails, it's been 2 years since you send them emails, it's just not worth the risk. If throughout the year you've been occasionally sending to them, usually you're okay, but you really just don't want to increase the number of emails that you're sending all of a sudden, because Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft, they're going to see that and they're going to be like, whoa, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And so, yeah, it's really so important that you have a good reputation with these ISPs, again, just to ensure that you are in the inbox and not in the spam folder.
Absolutely. I think, again, keeping focused, as you said before, that's what we need to do right now. There's going to be a lot of noise, many things to do, but just staying focused.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just not worth the risk. And I wish it wasn't that way. Like I wish we could just like send blast to everybody and it wouldn't affect the way that our emails end up in the inbox, but that's just not the way that it works anymore.
It's not
15, 20
2010
years
anymore.
ago, sure. Yeah. It didn't matter. You could purchase your list off the internet somewhere and it wouldn't matter. But now it's much different. These algorithms are set in place just to create a better experience for the end user. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking at the time and we'll just take one last question. If you could reiterate to the point you were talking about earlier about what if I don't have any historical data of the engagement and now I have that temptation, I'll just create a campaign. I'll just blast every single contact in my list just to see what sticks and how everyone behaves. So again, if you could just give us a few more tips. Okay, I am in that situation. What can I do to stay safe, but also get some data or maybe get some sales for Black Friday as well?
Yeah, yeah. So in the case of absolutely no engagement history whatsoever, again, this is really, really hard. You need to ensure that you're going through this warm-up process. If this is something that's new to you, definitely do some research on what a warm-up process looks like. But we have to build our reputation with ISPs. So ensuring that you're doing that in a slow way is the best way to end up in the inbox. So first steps is making sure that you go through that warm-up process. Then just start looking at your numbers. If you notice that your open rates are quite low, below 20, 30%, then there's something wrong with either your deliverability or there's something wrong with your list. You are just contacting too many people who are just simply not engaged. If you don't already have the Google Postmaster tool, please utilize that tool. It's such a great tool to keep in your back pocket. You can actually connect it to Omnisend so you can see what your deliverability looks like for Gmail specifically. Obviously, there are many other ISPs you'll notice in your deliverability reports. But this is a really great one because most of your audience are using Gmail anyway. So use that Postmaster tool, look at your spam rate, look at your deliverability, look at all of those things just to make sure that we don't have any deliverability issues first and foremost. If we don't have any deliverability issues, maybe this is a really great time to set up an inactive email subscriber workflow that is triggered based off of contacts who've just simply not engaged after a while. Send them an email. Do you still want to receive email marketing from us? If not, we're not offended. It's okay. And give them the option to stay on the list or to unsubscribe. Most of the time with these automations, I see that the open rates and click rates are embarrassingly low. But that gives you the confirmation that you need that these people are truly just not engaged. And you're paying for them on Omnisend. So, use that opportunity to clean up that list of those unengaged contacts. And really, if you have a list of contacts who are engaged and all of them are engaged all the time, then you're never going to have deliverability issues. You're never going to have these questions. But yeah, so I know that was like really long-winded. Never. But yeah, so. Yeah.
That is great. A real problem, and then there are some steps to be taken. Sometimes patience, unfortunately, is the
Yep,
way.
absolutely. Yeah.
Alrighty, so no more questions out there. We are on time. Again, everyone will receive the recording in a couple of days. We'll include the slides. You can go through them at your own pace. And then if you have any questions at all, you can contact our customer support. They're available 24/7. They'll be happy to guide you. Again, we understand stakes are high, you're busy, so don't rush it, and just know that you have the support available for you as well. Sadie, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Such a joy, and thank you for sharing the knowledge. And it was so practical, including all your best tips as well. And it's nice to know and feel what it's like to have our own customer success manager or our account expert. So also, everyone checkmate, you might be eligible for one depending on your account. So you might be able to talk to Sadie or someone else who can help you.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So Sadie, again, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Cool. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.